For years, street art was seen as an act of vandalism. Now, it is a more widely accepted style within the art community. Today, we're sitting down with local DC street artist Kelly Towles, whose largest piece of art can be found here in the art yards in Southeast DC. Well, Kelly, thanks a lot for coming out here today. You got some awesome artwork here. What were some of your challenges growing up?
I grew up in Alice Springs, Australia. I wasn't born there, I was born in the US. We were transplanted there because of the pop's job. I did live in Alice Springs. It's in the middle of the desert, to be real. And yeah, we had kangaroos as pets. We had one television station, it was BBC One. What we got was, for entertainment-wise, was like Astro Boy, you know, the young ones, the goodies, like Voltron, like really anime, British dark humor, Monty Python shit. I think a good base of my art, what I deem is like, I don't know, goes into my art, comes from.
What inspired you to pick up a spray can?
I had a pretty bad childhood. When you're an angry kid and you have outlets and like one of your friends offers you a can of spray paint. I was already drawing and doing art, so it just kind of made sense just to go out and have fun with it. The problem was for me is that I wasn't good at graffiti. Just kind of reverted back to my drawings and went towards characters.
That's one of the things that I find really interesting about your artwork is the characters that you have. They're so unique and unique to your artwork. How did you develop these characters? This is what you're seeing in your mind, or was there another artist that you saw? Like, this stuff's amazing.
I think it could be a combination of seeing other artists, but like the problem is that when you see other artists, I've always tried to do it from the start, is that I want to stay away from what they do. I was an art student in college, and the first year you get in, you like emulate every fucking fine painter, artist, sculptor out there. I've just kept at like these characters. They've just always stuck with me.
Do you have any reoccurring characters?
I think reoccurring things I have in my work is usually ski masks, like boxing gloves, sometimes peg legs. I've been trying more and more to evolve, not away from it, but just have more of a language, a visual language. As soon as I had my son, it's just everything kind of clicked. It's great that he's a part of my life, but he seriously focused me to no end. It's a weird thing to have that, you know. Other
than here, is there any kind of famous landmark that you can envision painting?
There's too many walls in DC right now. Honestly, there's so much architecture. DC is pretty pristine for street art. There's so many blank walls, and DC's so conservative in nature. For some reason, there's a group of people, they feel that in DC you can only paint dead politicians or dead musicians, which is a total load of shit.
What was your inspiration with this painting right here?
This painting was inspired by a collaboration between myself and Jasper Wong. I painted the right-hand side, and then he painted the left. He painted the dinosaur, I painted the guy, the masked character. It's kind of funny, the amount of things that you could paint on a 6-story building, and this is what we did.
I'm not an artist like you, but the scale I could see as being a challenge, you know, just making sure you have everything in right proportions and things of that nature.
You can do it just from photoshopping it onto a piece of paper and going up saying, okay, this is here to here. I've got to go like this.
What advice would you give to a young aspiring graffiti artist like yourself?
You can't sit there and say, don't look at someone else's work. Because when you're a young buck and when you're coming up, even taggers admire other taggers' work. There's nothing you can't do where somebody's already done almost everything before, you're gonna emulate somebody else. So just practice at something. If you see something, try and practice it. There's a reason why they call it graffiti as an art form, because anybody can grab a can of fucking paint and go up to a wall and write their name. There's only a certain amount of people that I feel that can actually give it justice, calling it what it is.
Do you think there's a certain threshold you have to pass before you call it graffiti art?
I mean, but there's a definition of graffiti. There's a definition for graffiti, which is the actual spray painting of letters. There's a definition of street art, which is actually probably more of what I do. I'm in the vein of just calling myself an artist these days. It's a small community, with street artists and graffiti people and people that actually turn it into their careers, you know, which is stellar in my book. I did the 9 to 5, you know, no offense, but fuck that shit. I'm so much happier doing what I do now